This is the Biafran flag, which will be the design for my license plate. The rising sun mold here will be done in part 2. Alright, here I am using the Dremel tool to work on the rising sun mold. That was a lot of work by itself, so I'll put that in a second part of this video. Alright, let's dive into everything I'll be using. My off-brand Swiss Army knife, the license plates, the mold, some tape, the paint that I think I'll be using, the mold kit, and you can see the cutouts for some of the molds that I wanted to use. So here I'm taping up the frames, getting them ready for the paint. This frame right in front of me is a little bit bigger, so it's going on the back of the vehicle. The other one will go on the front, which will sit on top of the frame. Those look done. They're lined up, match pretty well. Alright, let's begin. We have the enamel paint, the primer, the yellow acrylic that I may not use, the brushes, and the caps for the license plates. We are outside, so it's well ventilated. Gotta make sure I clean everything off, make sure it's a really good surface before I put the primer on. And everything that will be painted, will be here. The little caps that I may or may not use. And then also the screws that I would like to color, like this one. So it'll match the entire project. And this is what my makeshift holder for the screws. Did a decent job with it. You'll see. Alright, let's start with this primer. Because of my busy schedule, I'm on day 4 that I'm doing primer. This entire project, part 1 and 2, took me 10 days because of time and availability and drying things. Alright, this primer says it's about 30 minutes, but I waited about 40 minutes and so far looks good. Alrighty, now we're ready for the actual paint. The main colors, green and red. These are just very, very basic brushes, foam brushes. Should be able to do the job. Let's see if I have any idea of what I'm doing. This might take a while, so I decided to speed things up a bit so we can actually get through this project. Me, it was actually hours painting, waiting, repainting, waiting, and doing other stuff in between. I did consider getting spray paint, but I said no, I probably don't need that much. I'll just get this extremely small bottle of enamel. In hindsight, I end up buying more paint for the bike project that I'll probably do a video of later. But I think this came out well. I just had to take my time applying each coat and making sure everywhere was painted properly. But it was cool. So the Biafran flag, if you can tell, is based on the Pan-African flag. The same color stripes, the only difference really is the Biafran flag has a yellow rising sun in the center of the black bar. There are other similar flags like the Malawi flag, the flag of South Sudan, even St. Kitts and Kenya, and what's another one? And the proposed of Angola. Also note that alongside the Pan-African flag is the African flags based on the Ethiopian one, which is primarily green, yellow, and red, and sometimes black. A few examples: Cameroon, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, Togo. So now we've moved on to doing the first coat of the red part of the license plate. That would basically be on the top, and the nails, sorry, not nails, the screws and the caps that'll also be red to match. Alright, first coat is just about done. Now it's about 45 minutes to wait for the next coat. Alright, second coat. I seem to have messed my brushes and my hands. Now on the second coat, I can fill in the gaps and go in a little bit thicker in any area that was a little bit too light. Once again, starting with the green, getting all that done first, and then moving on to the red. Alright, while we finish up with this, waiting the 45 minutes, we're moving to an experimental part. We're going to try the yellow. So both the enamel and the acrylic spray. The reason I'm thinking about this is because of the scooter project that we worked on before. It didn't bond well with the spray, so I was very doubtful it'll work here. So let's try with the little canister thing. So I said, what better opportunity other than now while this is drying? Let's try yellow on this wood. See if the results will be helpful or not. They weren't. It's experimental. That came out well. Yeah, because it was wood. Duh. Alright, everything here feels like it's about ready, including the screws, the bolts, the little caps that are all painted. So let's go. Now it's time for clear coat. But before we can actually apply it, I have to get rid of all the tape. And this was one of the main reasons I picked a black frame. So I just tape it up and the black part is already ready. However, I did realize that there were some places that primer decided to hide underneath. Before I put this on, some of it required me to slow down, get the blade, and really get all the little white pieces of primer out. I just don't like how it looks, and it was a little sloppy on my end. First time doing this, so, you know, learn as you go. Alright, the bits of primer have been cleared up. Now let's get all the equipment out of the way. Watch out for that knife. Safety first. Good job. Yeah, there's no chance I'm doing clear coat by hand. I'm not even sure if it's available, so yeah. 45 minutes. First coat looks pretty good and dry. On to coat number 2. This one was pretty late at night, so I'm done with it. Let it dry overnight and come back in the morning. And now it is the next morning. Everything feels good, dry. It looks nice. A little stuck there, but you know. And a little final inspection. Make sure everything is really good before it goes on the vehicle. All the little covers, the screws, I had to release them from the paper because they all got stuck. But no big deal. Good to go. Alrighty, now it's time to mount these to the vehicle. So I'm only showing the application of the rear. The front is about the same but different size. Getting rid of these plastic unpainted screws. As I did mention earlier in the video, I did choose 2 different license plate frame sizes so that one would fit perfectly in the back with the mold of the rising sun, and the other one will fit in the front similarly but a little bit different, as you'll see in that video. The screws are plastic. They may wash out. I wanted to be cautious, so I screwed it in by hand as much as I could and then use a screwdriver when necessary, because there's still some paint inside the screw head that wasn't completely dry yet. Getting that last one a little tight right there. I'll look at the finished project of part 1. Yes, I do not reside in the States. Now let's move on to the front. Everything looks good over here. I just wonder how everything is going to hold up to the 4 seasons we have in the nation's capital. Please like, subscribe, and comment. This is the Biafran Samurai Techie. Tech out.